That was bloody sensational. That was Wartooth with their cover of Airborne's Back in the Game. Well bloody done, guys.
Thanks, man.
Something different for us, for sure. Going a bit more rock and roll and slowing it down a little bit.
This isn't the direction of the band, is it? You're not going to Black Album us, are you?
Oh, don't worry about that. Wartooth is as we say before every show, we are Wartooth and we play thrash metal. That ain't going anywhere.
Good, excellent.
Fear not.
I like. There's a few spots in that song where you go, "Yep, that's you put your signature mark on it." It was quite nice. It's a faithful cover, but very much. You could very much hear you guys and your influence in it. That's brilliant.
Well, that was an important part of it, we'd sort of jumped into the project, like I said, just to make a video. Like, okay, cool, we'll just just do a Brothers of Metal video with Back in the Game because that's the song of the month. But then we're like, okay, well, if we're going to record this thing and make it the real deal, actually give it some legs. Like, we've got to own it, like we did Slave to the Grind, we own that, it's a Wartooth cover of the song, and
I think it's a Wartooth song now.
Yeah,
I think we stole that from
Slave to the Grind. Yeah, and it was the same thing with this, man. It's like, well, the original is the original, and that's definitely like not what we're trying to reflect. And how do we put the Wartooth energy into the song? And so it's take the song, and go back to the drawing board, and go like, well, how do we play what we want to play?
Yeah.
How do we make it ours? And that's what we had to do. And then like, okay, cool, let's go record the Wartooth version of this song.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to just sit down and play it note for note, because that's the Airborne song.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. No, that's brilliant and a nice approach to it as well.
Yeah.
So, Year Guides coming up this weekend. This Saturday, I believe it opens at 12:30 midday.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So full 12 hours of metal.
12 hours of metal.
If anybody doesn't have tickets, we can get them. Just hit us up on the DMs on the social, or go through our website. But we've got some discounted tickets left. Maybe we've got a handful of them. Not very many.
Yeah.
But it's getting close to bloody selling out, this thing.
Yeah.
Some back room is nearly sold out. I knew. That's insane.
That is. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. And
it just shows everyone wants to be back in the bloody game.
Exactly. Couldn't have chosen a better song. Now
that's it.
Besides this gig, do you guys have any more plans for live shows over?
So we've still got 2 more booked in for the end of this year. Haven't been announced yet. Well, actually, today I finalised the lineup for the first show. We are going down to the Goldie in November. We'll be playing Vinny's Dive Bar on November 12, which is a Friday, so all the GC metalheads that we haven't visited in a few years now can get out to that one. We're also going to Ipswich as well in December, so that one's still to be announced. I know the promoter's just putting the final touches on that this week, and he said he should be able to get that started next week, because the year's disappearing so quickly. We're already in the middle of October, and we're like, shit, we've got 3 more shows to do in 3 months. Like, we better start talking about it,
Yeah.
That's the biggest priority on our hands right now is just telling the whole world about our new members, because that hasn't even happened tonight. We're just talking about them as if they're some secret dudes. But if you want to figure out who they are, you better tune in on Thursday night.
This Thursday.
And this will be on your Facebook page?
Yeah, so on the Wartooth Metal Facebook page, we'll be doing a live stream from 7:30 and having a little Q&A. So if you got any questions for the new blokes, bring them along, and you can grill them.
Absolutely.
And figure out
put them through their paces.
Yeah. Just hold them accountable. Like, what are you going to do for Wartooth? They've already come this far without you.
Sounds like you've already got questions planned, mate.
But no, it'll be a good time. So if you want to see their faces, be the first one to know who they are. You're already here listening to the song for the first time, so you might as well keep up with it.
Fantastic. That's this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Wartooth Metal on your socials.
That's it.
Check it out. Now 2022, what are we hoping for as the band? I mean, not for Christmas.
On my Christmas list,
Train set.
Now, we were talking to the guys actually last weekend. It's like, well, what do we want to do, because like we're all just keen to do some shows, but the touring situation, you can't plan for anything, as we were saying off air earlier. So it's a case of like, well, do we want to try and play 20 shows, or do we want to actually sit down and write and record? Because obviously they've been out of the picture for a little while, so they've got their own agendas, I guess, to meet and needs to fulfill, and a lot of that obviously is writing. So that was one thing they mentioned, like, well, we don't want to put off writing, because the problem is you start a tour and you lose 6-8 months of a year.
Yeah.
And then, an album process can take up to 18 months itself. So it's like, well, if you don't start until the end of next year, once you get your little comeback tour, that could be any length of time, and with delays and that, with COVID lockdown spontaneously, like you just don't know where your next album ends up being, and all of a sudden you're 10 years down the road on album 2.
Yeah,
you know,
I can certainly see how bands how that happens to bands. Yeah,
absolutely.
So everyone's like, well, album recording is the highest priority, you know. So we'll just get these handful of shows out the way. Maybe there'll be a couple of pop-ups next year, just one-off spontaneous deals. But it's like, well, everyone's got this urge to get writing, you know, once we put out the little gig bug, and then that's where it is, and it'll just be a whole new experience with 2 new complete energies coming into that process that wasn't there in the first album. So who knows where it's going to go, really.
And that's a big part of it too. Like, we've got this new energy in the band. Like, we've just been injected, like 50% of the band has just been re-injected with new life. On top of that, like, we've just been through, like, not just the 2 of us, but like as a society, we've just been through like a massive shifting in the world with the whole COVID situation, like mentally, emotionally, like economically, like so many things have changed and affected us. It's like there's so much new energy in Wartooth right now. Like, it would almost be a waste to not use that to write stuff.
Indeed.
You know, like, we definitely, like Wally's saying, you know, if you start touring and things, like, it's a year down the track before you even think about writing a new song, and it's like you've sort of not lost the opportunity, but you know, you didn't capitalize on the peak of the wave, sort of thing.
Yes,
so,
yeah,
it's like, while the energy's buzzing, while we're all ready and willing, like, let's get writing. Like,
well, I can't wait to
pen
hear.
to paper.
Can't wait to hear what the new influence brings and what comes for Wartooth next.
It won't be rock and roll. Just we're still thrash metal. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Just a cover. Andy, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I mean, we could, and left sort of unsupervised, we would talk all night. But we're going to play some other tracks now. So, Ye Gods of Metal coming up this Saturday. Shut-On's Corner Hotel at the Back Room. It's cheap. Hit up Wartooth for even cheaper tickets for 12 hours of metal, 12 hours of bloody metal. Get in quick, because it will sell out, and you'll get to see them before album number 2.
That's it. And thanks so much for having us, man. We really appreciate the time.
It's been a long time between drinks for us guys. It really has. So it's great to see you, and it's great to see Wartooth still kicking goals and playing shows and writing new stuff, and I cannot wait to hear it.
Say the line, Doc. It's good to see Wartooth
back in the game.
Yeah.